Hello, and welcome to another Edison TV executive interview. My name is Aaron Atkar, and I'm a healthcare analyst here at Edison. Today, we're joined by Dr. Silvia Comis, Chief Clinical and Medical Research Officer at OSE Immunotherapeutics. OSE is a French biotechnology company focused on developing and partnering therapies in the highly promising therapeutic areas of immuno-oncology and immunoinflammation. Welcome, Silvia.
Hello, great to be here today.
So, as we've covered in our recent contents, OSE has a broad and diverse clinical development pipeline, but today we're going to focus on the lead immuno-oncology program, Tedopi. But before we get into that, Silvia, to kick things off, can you briefly introduce yourself, your background, and tell us what originally drew you to work at OSE Immunotherapeutics?
Hello, I'm Silvia Comis, Chief Clinical and Medical Research Officer at OSE Immunotherapeutics. I am a doctor by training. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for around 30 years in a range of international roles focused on clinical research and drug development, as well as real-world evidence and medical affairs. I worked in various areas, including hematology, endocrinology, but my main focus for much of my career has been oncology, and particularly immuno-oncology. I joined OSE in December 2021 because of the innovative thinking I saw behind their immuno-oncology pipeline. And I saw a great potential here to make a difference for people living with some of the most devastating forms of cancer, as well as how that understanding of the immune-mediated processes could also stimulate breakthroughs in other disease areas driven by dysregulation of the immune system.
So, turning now to OSE's pipeline activities, could you outline the current treatment landscape in non-small cell lung cancer and touch upon some of the key unmet needs in the space?
Non-small cell lung cancer is the main indication we are leading with for Tedopi, primarily as a second line monotherapy for patients with the HLA-2 phenotype with no actionable oncogenic drivers. We believe Tedopi has the potential to become a new standard of care for these people. Lung cancer is an area of high unmet need worldwide because of its high incidence and high mortality, with over 2.2 million of new cases diagnosed each year. And around 85% of these cases are non-small cell lung cancers. Late diagnosis is a problem. More than 65% of subjects are diagnosed in stage 3 or 4. And as a result, around 18% of all cancer deaths are due to lung cancer. Looking more specifically at the US, EU, 5, Japan, and China, by 2030, we are anticipating around 350K people per year to be on second-line therapy, which is typically docetaxel, despite its limited efficacy and high toxicity. And of these people, around 220K would be expected to have progressed after at least 6 months of chemotherapy and immunotherapy, with around 100,000 of them with the HLA-2 phenotype. So that would be our population of interest.
So, looking now at the commercial side of things, what could be the market's opportunity for the lead immuno-oncology candidate Tedopi should it be successful with regulatory approval?
There are many varied estimates of the total non-small cell lung cancer market value in the early 2030s, ranging from more than $40 billion to more than $66 billion. With Tedopi, we are aiming to treat a specific group within that population, the 100,000 people I just mentioned, of course, in major markets. It's complex to estimate the commercial value of treating that specific group of patients, considering trends in incidence, prevalence, outcomes, and the evolving situation for treatment guidelines and reimbursement policies in different countries, in fact. So this is something we would look to refine with a commercial partner as we continue development of Tedopi in the coming years, working towards regulatory submission.
Fantastic. Could you talk to us now about Tedopi's unique mechanism of action, the significance of it being an off-the-shelf cancer vaccine, and then maybe touch upon some highlights from the clinical data obtained to date?
Tedopi is an off-the-shelf cancer vaccine, the most advanced cancer vaccine in clinical development. It can be used by patients who are HLA-2 positive, which is around 45% of the population. Importantly, it does not need just-in-time production, requiring a tumor biopsy from each individual patients, giving advantages in terms of speed, cost, quality of life for subjects, for patients. Tedopi works by combining 9 optimized neoepitopes, specific peptide sequences of 5 tumor-associated antigens that are frequently expressed in various types of cancers. And these epitopes are key holes that are recognized by the T cells of the immune system. And these cells are supported by a 10th epitope that promotes universal T helper response. So this mechanism of directly activating T cells against target cancer cell expressing these specific antigens is distinct from checkpoint inhibitors, which release the brake on the immune system more generally. So a more broadly activation of the immune system, such as with checkpoint inhibitors, on the other hand, can also lead to greater risk of immune-related adverse events, where the immune system can also potentially attack healthy tissues and organs. This means there is a strong rationale to use Tedopi for people who have developed secondary resistance after experiencing durable benefit with checkpoint inhibitors.
Excellent. So with Tedopi being OSE's most advanced clinical candidate, could you now update us on the current status of the program?
Our ARTEMIA Phase III clinical trial is ongoing. As we reported at ASCO earlier this year, we are making good progress on our plans to recruit at least 363 participants across more than 140 sites in Europe, of course, in the United States and in Canada. And this this is a key study for the registration of Tedopi as a second-line monotherapy treatment in patients with non-small cell lung cancer who have developed secondary resistance to anti-PD-1, anti-PD-L1 immunotherapy, and who have, of course, the HLA-2 phenotype. The study is on track to collect overall survival information by the end of 2027. And after cleaning and analysis of these data, we plan to report top-line findings in the first half of 2028. ARTEMIA was built on positive findings in third line, obtained with Tedopi in third line in non-small cell lung cancer. And while Tedopi was concluded ahead of early because of the outbreak of the pandemic, the analysis of data showed a significant overall survival benefit with good quality of life compared to standard of care chemotherapies in patients with secondary resistance to checkpoint inhibitors. And beyond this key study, ARTEMIA, we work also with academic groups that are studying Tedopi in 3 phase II clinical trials. In a similar population in non-small cell lung cancer for one of these trials, however, including different lymphoma, ARTEMIA, also some patients with more aggressive disease. And this will be Tedopi in combination with nivolumab or docetaxel. In another study in ovarian cancer, the group is investigating Tedopi as monotherapy or in combination as maintenance therapy for ovarian cancer patients. And on the other hand, at ASCO earlier this year, the top-line findings on 1-year overall survival were presented for the other study in pancreatic cancer in combination with FOLFIRI, again as maintenance therapy.
Fantastic. So you've touched upon it a little bit just there, but before we wrap up today, could you just succinctly summarize some of the key upcoming catalysts and milestones for Tedopi that investors should watch out for?
In 2026, we can expect the readout of 2 phase II trials. For Tedopi in ovarian cancer, this will be in Q2 2026, and for Combitad in non-small cell lung cancer in the second half of 2026. We can also expect further reports on the progress of the pivotal ARTEMIA study to 2026. And as I mentioned, we plan to conclude the collection of overall survival information by the end of 2027 with top-line findings to be reported in the first half of 2028. So we have a lot to look forward to with Tedopi over the next couple of years. And the non-small cell lung cancer indication in particular, as said, is an area of high unmet need. And I am excited to see how the potential of Tedopi will translate into positive clinical trial results.
Thank you, Silvia. It's been great to hear your thoughts, and we look forward to following the progress of the programs. If our audience would like to learn more, please refer to our research on OSE, which is freely accessible at edisongroup.com, or refer to the OSE website. Silvia, thanks again for the discussion today.
Thank you.